The Coyote Twin, Vermilion's Downtown Theater. Providing entertainment Thursdays through Sundays.
Coyote News, USD hosts the 48th annual Wachipi.
Plus, another year of the historical Spectrum Drag Show. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Good evening, I'm Sydney Funderman.
And I'm Philip Larson. We'll hear those stories soon, but first, Senators John Thune and Mike Rounds say they're not supporting the confirmation of Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson. Thune says he can only vote to confirm a justice whom he believes will respect the separation of powers and the limited role of a justice. He says he isn't sure if she would refuse to allow her personal opinions to influence her decisions on the bench. After meeting Brown Jackson and after reviewing her judicial decisions, Senator Rounds took to Twitter deciding not to support her nomination. Republicans say Brown Jackson's rulings were too soft on sex crimes. Only 3 Republican senators on the committee voted yes for her nomination, including Mitt Romney of Utah, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and Susan Collins of Maine. Brown Jackson's the first black woman to ever be nominated to the Supreme Court. The vote on whether or not to confirm her nomination is expected by the end of the week.
USD's Teoshpe Student Council hosted the 48th annual Wachipi this past weekend. The event was held for the first time in 2 years since COVID. The event lasted 3 days in the SCSC, featuring keynote speakers, alumni recognition, and the biggest event, the powwow. In the Dakota language, Wachipi means they dance. It's been 2 years since Teoshpe hosted the event. President Rachel Overstreet told the Volant that the event encapsulates the spirit of USD's Native students. The powwow included categories for all ages, from kids to adults.
The 14th annual Spring Drag Show featured nationally known professionals who also were featured in a short film presented during this year's show. More than 200 tickets were sold for the USD event. Coyote News' Ali Anduaga has the story.
Last week's professional drag show began with the premiere of The Queen of Pandora's Box, featuring performers from the House of Shakers, a regional drag group. The short film tells the story of a drag queen making their way in the world. USD Spectrum student group's been working with the House of Shakers and their house mother, Martina Shaker, for the past 14 years. Members of the audience were able to flash $1 bills for a chance to get their hand touched by the performers. The drag queens sang and danced through the crowd, frequently stopping to interact with the audience.
Going to a drag show is very liberating, just to see people so confident in who they are as a person and in their art form. And the energy of a crowd is so amazing. It's just so great to celebrate just queerness in general, and I think a drag show really is the pinnacle of that.
Young says they hope students attending the show will understand the beauty of drag, and that they too can be anything they want. For Coyote News, I'm Ali Anduaga.
Thanks, Ali. The Queen of Pandora's Box will be competing in film festivals from the regional to international level and will be shared with the public after competition season.
Next on Coyote News, how the new Dakota Dome pool will affect the swim team.
And we'll hear about all that went into creating the new USD website. Stay with us.
The Student Government Association is a great way for students to actually impact on what happens to campus and make a meaningful change through legislation in SGA.
This is Coyote News.
The Lewis and Clark Regional Water System is receiving a record-setting amount of money from the Congressional Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. The $75 million will allow project managers to install dozens of miles of new pipeline and construct other facilities. The construction will benefit Madison in South Dakota, along with Hull, Sheldon, and Sibley in Iowa. The bipartisan infrastructure law includes a total of $1 billion for water projects. The Bureau of Reclamation is allocating $420 million this year. The remaining $580 million will be allocated over the next 4 years based on how the projects are going. Lewis and Clark is eligible to receive additional funding next year. The Lewis and Clark water system has been under development since Congress authorized it in 2000. It'll serve about 350,000 people once construction is complete. The USD swim and dive team is getting an upgrade to their facilities. Construction on the pool will begin this fall. The facility will be attached to the Wellness Center for use by both the community and the team. Head coach Jason Mahold says he's excited and looking forward to the project.
Just what it's going to bring to the university. You know, the ability to recruit better athletes, to run faster meets, to have more time to plan and prepare because we're not on deck coaching. I think the whole package is just kind of going to be a game changer for our program specifically, but for what we're able to do for the community too.
The project consists of an Olympic-sized competition pool, a large recreational pool, and a 16-person hot tub also open to the public. Construction is set to be finished in 2023.
A few weeks ago, USD launched a brand new website featuring an entirely new design, the layout, and the website. Featuring an entirely new design and layout, the website launched at the end of the last month. Coyote News' Kate Cromer is live in the muck to hear from enrollment marketing specialist Bailey Quanbeck about the design process behind the new website. Kate?
Thanks, Sydney. I'm here in the muck with USD's communication strategist, Bailey Quanbeck. Now, this new website just launched and students are really excited about it. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what went into the decision to make the change to the website?
Yeah, sure thing. So we saw a lot of opportunities for improvement with our website, and a lot of them come back to the user experience and making that the best possible for our students and our whole university community. So we're thinking about things like making our website cleaner and more organized, easier to navigate, a more visually engaging experience, and also an emphasis on storytelling because we have such amazing faculty and alumni and students, and we really want to get that story out. So yeah, it all comes back to making it the best possible resource for our community. So yeah, something that's not only beautiful, but also highly functional and tells the USD story.
Are there any new features to this website that students might not know about yet?
Oh, which one to pick? Well, first of all, we've really improved the mobile design of the website. So before it might have been a little bit more difficult to find things if you're on your cell phone, but we know how important that is. So that was definitely a priority with this new website. And I'd also say that that storytelling piece is a big part of it. So now we have a section on our website called The South Dakotan, and that's where we're really able to highlight some stories about our faculty, staff, students, and alumni. So those are some really exciting things that we're excited to offer with our new website.
Are there any upcoming changes to any other digital spaces that USD has?
Well, for the website in general, this is something that we're excited and enthusiastic about being something that will continue to grow and adapt. And so the website's really well positioned to change with adjusting technologies. So even though right now we're focused on making it the best thing it can be for today, there's going to be a lot to look forward to for tomorrow as well.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Live in the muck for Coyote News, I'm Kate Cromer.
Thanks, Kate. The newly designed USD website can be found at usd.edu. Next on Coyote Sports, women's tennis opens their season against North Dakota, and women's basketball head coach Dawn Putzawhite left USD. It's all happening next on Coyote Sports.
In the United States, approximately 6.3 million animals enter shelters every year. Of those, only 3.2 million will be adopted, and over 920,000 will be euthanized. Help put a stop to animal homelessness, save a life, and rescue your next best friend.
This is Coyote News.
This is Coyote Sports. I'm Michael Stake.
And I'm Landon DeBoer.
Women's basketball head coach Dawn Plitzowhite has left USD and accepted the head coaching job at West Virginia. Plitzowhite coached at South Dakota for 6 seasons, winning over 150 games, 3 Summit League regular seasons and tournament titles, and led the Coyotes to qualify for the NCAA tournament 4 times, making it to the Sweet 16 this season. On Monday, she announced that her coaching staff is going with her to Morgantown. Plitzowhite and her staff inherited a Mountaineers team that finished 7th in the Big 12, going 7-11 in conference play with an overall record of 15 wins and 15 losses. USD has started a search for the next women's basketball coach.
With Coach Plitzowhite leaving for West Virginia, 2 players have entered the transfer portal. It was announced late last night that Kaya Watson and Maddie Kroll have entered the portal. Both Watson and Kroll are second-year freshmen who were full-time starters for the Coyotes. These 2 freshmen combined for 12.5 points per game.
While Coyote Athletics had a busy weekend hosting tennis, track and field, and softball, spring soccer also saw their first home games of the season. USD played a doubleheader on Saturday against Omaha and Wayne State. The women's spring season games won't count towards their overall records, but are instead used as practice. The last matchup between the Coyotes and Mavericks was on October 31st, 2021, where the Coyotes lost 1-0. The Coyotes haven't seen the Wayne State Wildcats since 2008, when the Coyotes won 8-1. USD will host another doubleheader on this upcoming Saturday, beginning with Briar Cliff at 10:30, then a match against Mankato at noon.
The softball team hosted SDSU at Nygaard Field for the first time since 2017 this weekend. In Game 1, USD scored 5 runs in the second inning to put them up 5-0. SDSU's offense picked up, scoring 3 runs down the stretch, but the Coyotes were able to strand 13 Jackrabbit base runners, giving USD the 5-3 victory. In Game 2 of the doubleheader on Saturday, SDSU's offense had 16 hits and 3 home runs, winning the game 20-0 in a 5-inning affair. In the third and final game of the series, SDSU scored a pair of runs in the second inning and added a run in the 4th and 7th. The Coyotes' offense was quiet until the 6th inning, where they brought a run across, but that's all they could get, losing 4-1. With the series win, South Dakota State scored a point in the South Dakota Corn Showdown Series, where the Coyotes now lead by 2 points, 9-7. The Coyotes will be on the road next weekend, taking on the St. Thomas Tommies in St. Paul, with the series opener on Saturday at noon.
The Coyotes track and field team hosted the USD Early Bird on Saturday, claiming 8 event titles on the weekend. Freshman Marlene Mula finished on top of the women's pole vault competition with a personal best of 4.41 meters, which is 6th best in the NCAA season. South Dakota had a podium sweep in the women's 400-meter hurdles, with Mo Bridgen leading the way for the Coyotes. Helen Gold won the 3,000-meter steeplechase in just under 11 minutes, which is the best time posted in the Summit League this year. The track and field team in Wichita this weekend is in the KT Woodman Classic that started this afternoon and will run through Saturday.
The Coyotes tennis team played their home opener on Friday when they hosted the North Dakota Fighting Hawks. USD captured the doubles point, combining it with their 4 wins in singles, leading them to a 5-2 victory over UND. Yana Lazarevic and Habiba Ali won their singles and doubles matches on Friday, and Lazarevic's singles win puts her tied for 4th in program history with 55 wins. The Coyotes are now tied for 3rd in the Summit League with a 3-2 conference record and will face St. Thomas on Saturday in Minnesota. That's it for Coyote Sports.
Make sure you're following Coyote Radio's Twitter at Coyote Radio 911 for live updates of game coverage this spring.
Coming up, we'll hear some study tips just in time for finals week. Stay tuned.
My favorite thing about the International Club is the different events they hold within the school year. My particular favorite is definitely Festival of Nations. Peace out.
Except for you. Wait,
This is Coyote News.
Finals are just around the corner.
That's right, Sydney. We are just 2 weeks away, or 3 weeks away, from the end of the semester.
In this week's Out and About, we asked students what their best study tips are.
Here's what they had to say.
I don't know, do your work on time. Make sure you get it done. I feel like that's the most important part.
Don't study until the day before and just crank it out for 3 hours straight.
Lots of Adderall.
I would say hide your phone.
Just reviewing your notes from the beginning and just going through all of them.
I sleep.
Don't wait till the night before and go for at least a week in advance, or else you will be screwed.
Do a little bit each day of the week.
Before your finals, just go over your notes throughout the 7 days.
Don't procrastinate and actually study.
Write key concepts on a note card.
Actually study. That's it.
I usually just like to go over the stuff I know I'm not like prepared for. That's like I make that my main priority.
I would say just study ahead of time. Don't push it towards last second, and don't overstress it.
Yeah, just cram.
Well, Sydney, I am an infamous procrastinator, and this might be a basic answer, but I'd say just going to the library does a lot. You know, you can't be distracted. It's just laser focused. So make use of the library is what I would say.
My best study tip would have to be just turning off your cell phone for an hour or two, and so your mind is just where it needs to be and it's not preoccupied.
Totally agree with that. Get off that phone. Popular television personality Joe Exotic, who's currently in prison, announced his plan to marry longtime partner and Sioux Falls native John Robert Graham, whom he met in prison over a year ago. The Tiger King star took to Facebook to announce that he hopes to be home in Sioux Falls soon so that he can get married. Exotic is currently serving a 21-year prison sentence on charges of animal cruelty and murder for hire in Durham County, North Carolina. Thank you for joining us. That is it for tonight's Coyote News.
Be sure to pick up this week's edition of The Volant to read about one student who shares his talent with Vermilion.
Follow us on our social media pages for the latest updates and news throughout campus.
This is Coyote News. Have a great night.